I think we're live.
Ooh. Hey, everybody. As always in the chat, give me a shout if you notice anything weird with audio. And if you notice, Mr. Jacob is sitting in the studio because I am in a different state right now. So, welcome everybody to the Forest Forge, Wildcrafting with Avenue Studios. I'm Dan Stacy, and with me, as always, is our wonderful GM extraordinaire Jacob and Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads. We are in our Modern May Forge. I'm very excited for this one. We've been talking a little in the background, and it's going to be sweet. I can't wait to build this. And remind me again, this is Evil Genius's system.
Yep.
A 5th edition based system.
Yep. Everyday Heroes. I actually have the book behind me here. It's Everyday Heroes. They made it for 5th edition, but it's supposed to be modern heroes, but like normal heroes. Think like Rambo and stuff like that. So yeah,
it was really fun. I had the privilege of starting to make the Chiro Chiba and Great Mustache characters for pre-generated selection, and it was really cool to see the system and the different options. I really liked their character build. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, quick announcements. Of course, this month, if you didn't see in our social media, we're doing slightly different order. So next week will be Knights of New Seattle back to back, and then the second to last week of May will be the actual game that we're going to build and at least start forging right now. And then we'll have another extra Knights of New Seattle at the end of May. So I'm very excited to see where that story goes. Of course, if you join the ever-growing forest of Avenue Studios at sapling tier or up, you'll be entered into the raffle to play in the one-shot in Modern May that we're going to build right now. So come on in, join the family, and play some games with us. We would love to see you there. And I think that's all the announcements for us right now. June will be going back to the normal schedule, but we'll have our calendar post up. And of course, don't miss the Around the Hearth episodes on Adam's channel, where we discuss the ideas for each of these themed months that lead to creating these one-shots. Speaking of, I'll turn it over to you. Adam, good sir, what's happening on your side of the internet?
Well, greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to our discussions. I am Adam L. Spain with the Interplanar Crossroads. We are, like he said, we're going to be discussing this, getting this worked around. But as far as announcements for me, the Interplanar Crossroads is still trying to get towards our goal of $100 support per month, whether that's through Patreon, Locals, Subscribe Star, or Direct Contact. Either way. And doing so gets you access to our Discord, where we share any different PDF content, different pieces of art that we use, and things like that for you to be able to use in your games. I know that has happened with at least one of the art pieces that I've done, or at least 2 of the art pieces I've done, because we've used them here in the Forest Forge. So if you get those things, you will also see that original artwork for those specific things. So that's a selling point for you. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So that's what I've got for announcements as far as our goals. We're going to be recording another Around the Hearth soon, but this one's that we've recorded is about modern settings and stuff like that. So if you want to check those out, those are going to start coming out. First one came out this week, and they are going to be coming out every Tuesday, as usual. So next one, let me see. The last one we did that was released was Choosing an Era. This next one that's going to be released next Tuesday is Modern Magical Theory.
Oh, yes. It's so much fun to see it after talking in the past, It's like seeing it anew.
Awesome. So I think it's my turn, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
What you got?
So let's start out with Modern May. We'll start with a little setting here. We're playing in like modern day, like today, which it's today. And I decided to plan a little introduction module. It's a little different. This one's a little different because the players are going to start not really knowing each other. And they're going to start with they're at a bank doing bank things, whether it's arguing with a teller because they don't understand why their bank is low or whatever it may be, So I'm going to switch the scene on Foundry here. As soon as there we go. Bloop.
Big shout out to Jacob running OBS for me for the first time.
There we go. So it's a work in progress. It's not finished. We're going to flesh it out. I'm going to add some roof pieces to the roofs on the outside of the bank. But the players are going to start somewhere in this bank. And obviously there's still a lot to be done. So I'm just going to kind of showcase the bank a little bit. First of all, I'm going to zoom out and check to make sure we're capturing the image properly. So to the north of the bank, there's like the parking lots, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So that's a work in progress. The taxi's pulled over, probably dropping somebody off or picking somebody up, and just kind of adding little details here and there. And then through the bank, there's like a main hallway that walks to the other side, so walkers can come in. I'm picturing this in kind of a smaller city. But so in the bank, we have, let me just make sure I zoom in properly here. We have the tellers. So there's a whole bunch of tellers, and there's tables here. I'd like to put some propaganda, paperwork on and stuff.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
Whoops.
with the way our banking system is at the moment.
Yeah. Shh. No, I'm just kidding. Then we have the vault, which is a work in progress over here. And Dan, if you want to view this, I did share it with you in Discord. I don't know if you can, but we also have in here, it's going to be like a little security hub. So honestly, if one of the players wanted to play a guard of the bank, they could play there. They're probably going to be in this area here. And then I was going to make some meeting rooms over here. There's a little reception area over here for people who wanted to have meetings with like the loan officer or, you know, whoever, however that works out. I'm going to flesh out each little office a little bit more. So it's going to be a lot of people. I haven't quite decided what I want to do with this room down here. I don't, input's always welcome. I obviously have to put in all the doors still. There's still a lot of little work I want to get. I want to add little details. I want to make this as modern feeling as I can. You know, you walk into a bank, and some banks have plants, and it's beautiful, and it's well done, and it's clean. You know, I'm trying to give it that look. So I'm going to change. This map is not finalized for anybody who's watching and wants to play this or whatever. But of course, you got to have your latrines. That's the first thing I built. I don't know why. I was like, it's got to have bathrooms.
Yeah. Well, so many maps neglect that. So
it's so true. It's one thing I've seen a lot more. That could be a stockbroker's room. Great mustache. That is a great idea, actually. Thank you. If somebody could take notes for me, I don't know if I didn't bring my notepad, so, or I'll just rewatch it. Right.
You know what?
Go ahead.
No, for sure. But I'll take notes too.
Yeah. If that's not too much on you, man.
No, for everyone watching, my internet is mediocre at best. So I probably won't be on Forge to see directly. So I will take notes. You just shout at me.
Awesome. So I also made an employee entrance here. I'm assuming it's going to be like with a keypad and stuff. And they're going to like a little lounge where they can put their stuff. I'm trying to find a microwave image or something I can use for microwave. I'm still working on that. And like maybe some other couple little things, maybe a refrigerator. I'm still playing around. I might make that room a little bigger too. Because obviously there's a lot of workers here. But I mean, how many times do you guys go to a bank and not every teller spot's full, right?
So
go ahead.
A question might be,
yeah,
what decade are we in?
I was picturing like now.
Okay, so we've got internet, we've got
surveillance cameras, hence why the
surveillance cameras.
This guy down here, or she, the guard down in here they have so many screens up here. And I know it's hard to see right now. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There's actually a big screen right here too for the guards to watch the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. So yeah,
okay.
I want.
Are you picturing this?
Go ahead.
You pictured it in a smaller city, you said?
Correct.
So is this a single-story building or a multi-story building?
See, and I haven't gotten quite there yet because I hemmed and hawed about that. And I wasn't going off of any bank in particular because I'm sure there's some laws against that, right? But I was doing the singular story because it's easier, but I went back and forth with adding a second tier, but I didn't know what to put in that second tier besides like computer hub, and stuff like that. But there's a lot of room still left on the outside of the vault. And so I was debating on up here. I'll ping it up here to the north. I was maybe opening that up and making that like the computer, because there's got to be like computers, cords, and all that stuff. So I was gonna that back room was gonna be like a tech room with wires running. I was gonna put wires on the ground, just kind of simulate neatly wires running and stuff like that, just to kind of give it that feel. Because right now it's kind of, this could easily be used in 90s era easily. I mean, especially late 90s.
Well,
but
you could do something you could do if you wanted to. They don't ever have to access it if they don't want to, but there could be upper stories. It's just that there isn't anything in them, because a lot of office buildings nowadays, because you're setting this now, so it's 2023.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of offices that aren't in office buildings anymore. They've shifted away from that.
That's
so maybe
true.
maybe there's stuff up there at one point, but now it's just dust and desks and chairs and storage.
Could be record storage,
junk like that.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Dan, if you don't mind writing down building a second floor, even I can build that in separate image, and that way that could be another place for players to go. Because I haven't even gotten to the story part. What's going to happen, surprise, is a bank robbery is going to happen while your players are there. So,
Beautiful.
They're the first contacts to react to this bank robbery. And I haven't quite fully fleshed that out yet. We'll get there, of course. And, so it's, a second floor is a great idea. You're absolutely right, Adam. I appreciate that input. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I know that we talked about stockbroker's room down here. You can do that with that up there or down there. One of the rooms could also be used as some banks have office looking rooms where clients of the bank can meet their clients. That's something that regional banks do sometimes.
Okay.
So these can be left empty.
That's true.
If you want them to.
That's true.
And they can set, like, if one of the players wants to play a businessman who's there for a business meeting with an NPC or something.
Yeah.
They're here in one of these offices when it happens. Something like that.
I love it. That's actually a great idea.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I can actually.
You're thinking for that. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Thinking that for that one room that's undecided.
No, he was looking at. I have some offices off to the right, to the east of the building.
Okay.
That I've left empty, but maybe rotating them around and making them those less desk-like and making them a table-like for people to meet with clients. I actually like that idea a lot, especially from a business meeting standpoint. And then I could take this room to the north that I wasn't 100% sure what to do with either, and I could turn that into like the loan offices where people can go and sign up for loans and stuff, and then leave those as like for high-end clients to meet with people. I love that. And then I did like Great Mustache's idea of the broker's room down here, and I can actually change the entrances so that the brokers can get into this room, but they would have locked doors to get into the upper parts so that they have their own like room to work. I like that idea.
And if you need to, you can absorb maybe this one up here as a stairwell instead to go up.
Where are you? I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. That or at one of the end of the hallways even, I could just absorb the whole room and make it a stairwell. Yeah. I could put another latrine in there, because right now there's only for more of the employees, because right now the employees and guests would share a latrine, and there's one down here for the guards. But honestly, adding a more private one for the employees is actually a really good idea. So Dan, if you could write that down. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Maybe a little break room and bathroom.
Yeah, because these guys over here, the tellers have their own break room, but the loan officers technically don't. They'd have to walk through the building, which is not that big of a deal. I mean, you're inside of a bank.
Well, you were needing to absorb some of this space anyway, right?
I'm going to be absorbing some of that space, yeah. So this is all.
So you can just put a bathroom right there.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're absorbing space for bathroom and stairs.
Yeah.
Yep. like the tellers can have their bathroom over here, and then there's this more private, exclusive bathroom for the bank manager, the loan officers, and the clientele, the upper echelon clientele.
Yeah. That's a great idea. My wife just told me I look great, so I just want to share that. I'm blushing. Can't see it through my beautiful beard, but
Nice. Everybody drank. Every time
Well, you
Michelle
see-
compliments Jake.
oh, I love that.
You can't see it through the beard or the what is it? The beanie cap that's covering his ears. Because if he's like me,
Yeah.
his ears turn red too.
That's awesome. So yeah, and then I'm going to be adding a lot more details to outside of the bank too, just to kind of give it the feeling. I want to put air handler units on top of the buildings. I want to put, just to make it feel that little bit more modern. Even like a satellite dish on top of one. Just because it's kind of fun to add those little details. But thank you. I mean, you guys have given me a ton of input and a ton to add to this, so I'm very excited about that.
Are you going to be building out any of the other buildings? Or are you leaving them as stationary and then this whole thing's happening within this one building?
Correct. I was going to have the entire thing happen within the one building. I'm hoping that people who are interested in this module would use it as like an introduction one shot to get the players hooked up. And then I'm going to have it wrote in there that somebody's in the bank that has a higher end job security work maybe or something along those lines that wants to contract. I haven't fleshed that fully out yet, but that sees all this happen. The bank robbers come in, and then after it all happens and your guys as player characters take care of the situation or die. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But we'll take care of the situation, and then they would be he would get their contact information or something along those lines. I could leave a couple different hooks at the end for a game master to use this situation for.
So you could have it where that maybe a private security company or some other type of company that you're wanting to work with in the story-wise could be coming to use one of these meeting rooms with a client because he's the financier of a partial financial backer of that company that might later hire the PCs.
Yeah.
But himself's not a fighter or anything like that. He's just a businessman. He's a financer.
Yeah.
He's got the money, they've got the talent, so he finances them, type of thing.
Exactly.
So,
I love it.
Side note on that, spoiler for later in the Forge, 𝙏𝙖𝙗𝙗𝙗's character sheet might have some stuff that will go along well with that.
Oh, wonderful. I'm excited. From what I did a quick glimpse of the characters you built, Dan, and first of all, thank you. That was awesome. Second of all, I'm excited. They're going to play out nicely. I build all these modules and I just want to play them. I want to run them from other people. And like, I know we run them, but I want to turn them all into a campaign. I'm such a mess with that.
And actually there's a quick segue that we were talking about after the last one is a lot of these modules we're going to be powering through in a 2-hour episode. There's a lot more that you're putting into these that you could really flesh out into something more. So we're only going to be hitting some highlights in our live play. There's so much more that Jacob's putting into these modules. So we would definitely love to see people play it and also, check out Jacob start playing games too and ask him to play some of these modules as well.
Yeah, I'd love to. A little bit longer of a one shot to show you guys. I mean, and if you're on the fence about doing one of these modules, hit me up. I'll run it for pretty cheap on my Start Playing Games so that you guys can get a broader experience of, the more options and stuff. But with that note, I do think when we play these, we had some great feedback from our players last time. And that way we could showcase a little bit more. I would like to shorten combat. So we can go over that next time we play, but there's some things coming down the stream so that we can showcase the module a little bit more. But with that said, with this module, I don't have any of the walls in yet because I knew I was going to be changing things. So like this still has a lot of fun things that we can do together while working on it. Like the actual walls that stop players from running through. But
do they though?
Well, that's true. I mean, this is a modern setting. Like you're a big bodybuilder, just smack. Wow, these are wooden walls. That would take a lot. It's the plaster walls though. They could definitely. crumple right through.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you can punch through
Yeah.
drywall. It's not that hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I was gonna say roll to miss a stud.
Oh yeah, that would hurt.
Ooh.
That would hurt.
Oh, that'd make for a great story though.
Ow, my hand.
That's that failure with a twist. Your guy goes through the wall and hits a stud and spins. He makes it through the wall, but now he's prone and he's taking 1d6 damage, you know?
Yes.
But he made it through the wall.
Sorry, it was lath and plaster underneath the drywall.
Yeah.
You're taking like a D8 now.
Oh no, it's like an old building that they renovated and they kept. Oh, it's a historic bank and they kept the brick inlays and it's actually brick because it's built over the original. So they're
I
like,
love
"Oh, I'm
that.
gonna bust through this facade." Wham! Oh.
That's awesome. That is great. Yeah, so I was just pondering it all. I love the idea of having where your PCs typically don't know each other, or they could. I mean, that's obviously up to you and your players, but for us, I was going to run it where they don't know each other. They're in a situation where all of them feel like they have the ability, the drive to be like, we need to do something. We need to do something to fix the situation. So it's going to be fun to see how it's handled.
Right.
You know, so I think map wise, you guys have given me a lot to work on. Next, I kind of want to talk about the actual robbery a little bit. Because I've never robbed a bank before, so I have zero experience with any of this. Not that either of you have, but
There's lots of movies that you can draw from.
yeah,
There's been several really good like suspense type of movies that have that going on, where it's basically you're dealing with a locked room type of setup,
Yeah.
except it's an entire bank, but nothing goes in, nothing goes out is the idea.
yeah,
And depending on what you want to do, I'm not sure if you would want to do this. If it's for like a one shot, the financial incentive is probably enough
yeah,
for your robbers. If you wanted to do something more involved, you could then say, well, yes, the money is actually a front for what they're actually going after
right,
in the vault.
yeah,
Or maybe it's not even about the vault. Maybe it's about the guy that's running the financier.
right.
Maybe that's the actual thing. So the
Or
loot
there's
is the
always-
financier, not the vault.
Right.
Right.
Information too.
Yep. That's actually a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that could even draw, like maybe there's something stored in this bank that was supposed to be a temporary storage. You know, maybe you get some government agencies involved in a way, and they were coming to pick it up. And then boom, that information's taken. But you guys maybe stop most of it or stop all of it. Now you're hunted by whatever group was trying to get it to begin with. So these are the lackeys trying to get this information. Let's just say USB drive with crucial information. I'm just throwing stuff out there. And
Yeah.
so whoever hired these lackeys to do this, now your group has a target, and part of your campaign is you're in witness protection program. But they keep finding your group. So like that could be kind of, I'm just throwing some random ideas out there. Like this is what this could turn into easily.
Right.
That's fun. So well, go ahead.
So depending on what decade you set this in, it's definitely going to depend on what the MacGuffin is that's being desired.
That's true.
So it could be
Did
something,
in
if
the
it's
80s
just
and make it a
money.
flash drive.
Yeah. A floppy disk.
Floppy
Floppy
disks.
disk.
I mean, the government still uses floppy disks in some situations. Well, they use hard disks. So, but if it's something electronic, you would need to make it to where, if it's happening like a modern day,
Yeah.
you need to make it where, yeah, it's electronic, but it is on an intranet, not an internet.
Right.
So you could say that this bank has its own intranet. And that would be a way you could safely store this data if it's about data.
Yeah.
Right.
You can do it in any decade if it's a physical item that they're wanting. Like I suppose if you wanted to, you could do it where somebody took a bunch of crypto, if you wanted to make it modern, and then put on this key. and the key is physically stored in a bank in a safety deposit box or something, because they have the USB keys that you can store your crypto on.
Yes.
So maybe it's got billions of dollars in etho coin or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many of those
There's
things.
so many things. Yeah. No, I love all the input. You mentioned a bank manager or somebody of higher end. I would like to switch over now that we've kind of looked at the map, and I'm sure we'll add more. And as I'm building it, it'll change. And the three of us talk about this stuff through the week, so I'm sure I'll get plenty of input. I don't really have any NPCs fleshed out yet. So if we could start with a couple of people who are in the bank, because obviously there's going to be some basic commoners, but it would be kind of fun to have like some unique, and people in chat too, people who are watching. It would be awesome if you guys gave input too. So yeah, so let's start.
All
with,
right, so how small is this town?
I mean, I didn't look up a population.
So,
a small city. I was kind of referencing a local population, but I actually don't know the population. So if you want to give me a second, I can look it up.
Okay.
But
I'm asking because this will determine whether Betty knows that Matilda is having an affair with the bank manager, and if
Yep.
Matilda is actually, that type of thing.
so I'm thinking like
If Betty knows all the gossip or not.
That's great. So the small city nearby that I was referencing has a little over 15,000 people.
Oh yeah, she knows.
Yeah, I mean,
Betty knows.
That could easily be some gossip going on, right? I mean, that's
Yes.
that's great.
So Betty knows that Matilda is having an affair with Mr. Hassenpfeffer.
Oh gosh,
The
are you writing all this
bank
down?
manager.
Yes.
You don't have to. You know what's great about live streams is I can rewatch them, which I often do. So,
I am writing it down.
oh, so Rex
If you can't
Rex
hear
just
me,
got in.
at least I'm taking notes.
Oh, we got thank you, David, for acknowledging my mighty fine backdrop. This is we're in Avenue. I'm in Avenue Studio, so this is fantastic. And to catch up with Rex, there, we are planning a modern day bank heist. Well, no, just kidding. Defending a modern day bank heist. And we're using Evil Genius's Everyday Heroes for 5th edition. It's meant to be used for 5th edition, but obviously in modern. And we're looking at what the bank looks like. We have the tellers and stuff, and we're just discussing NPCs. So if you have any ideas for NPCs, let me know. Adam just dropped one of a Mr. Hoffenteller. Is that what you said?
Hassenpfeffer.
So Hassenpfeffer.
Hoffenpfeffer.
So
Hassen.
Mr. Hassenpfeffer, the bank manager. Now, Betty, one of the old tellers, she knows that Mr. Hassenpfeffer is having an affair with Matilda, who is one of the new hires here. And Betty thinks that's why she got the job. But Ruth, the other teller, doesn't think so, because she thinks it's because Matilda can do math in her head, like do the calculations real fast, and suspects that that Matilda's going to get a raise here, not a raise, a promotion to the secretary, because she heard that Tilly, the Mr. Hassenpfeffer's actual secretary, is going to be retiring. So
awesome.
that's just me spitball.
No, I love it.
But-
Yeah, I mean, it's what's fun about creating those
Write it all
relationships.
down.
What's fun about creating these relationships and stuff is that when there's the bank robbery, you're gonna see people act differently. If somebody has a love affair or whatever it may be, or an interest, or they're gonna want to protect those people. So that adds to the role playing element of like, as the things happen and as things go down, what becomes their motive? What becomes their drive? Is it a drive to survive, a drive to protect, a drive to get out? So that's kind of fun to add that into some of the characters, because that also allows pre the bank robbery there to be some things like, oh, have your character roll perception. Oh, you pick the bank manager winking at the teller or whatever it may be. You can throw in random stuff, or you can watch. You hear from the other room in the bathroom two of the tellers arguing about who should get the promotion, or like that's because it adds to like the atmosphere, because that's all real things that are happening. So it's thank you, Adam.
Yeah. Now, you said there's loan officers, so we need a loan officer and someone coming in for a loan.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some broker's room. Now, maybe the brokers, since it's modern day, maybe this is just a room that the local people use. Like the local business is kind of renting this from the bank.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So
because
okay,
to trade stocks, you don't need to trade stocks nowadays. You don't need an office like that.
That's
so
true.
they may be just subletting within that.
That's true.
So you could have an entire business dynamic in there too.
I wonder what the laws are. I'm not even looking it up. Can you run a brokerage inside your bank? No.
Well, you can like
world.
the bank can can own a building.
Yeah.
So
no, it was an interesting thought I had. So yeah, we have, and this is also here is more of a receptionist spot, so a player could play a receptionist of the bank too. But in the meantime, it would be cool. Let's make a
play Betty.
That could be Betty, right?
Who knows everything.
Now we gotta have a class. We gotta have a janitor, right? He's gotta have a nice big thick mustache. I don't have a wet closet for the janitor. That's what I gotta add. I knew it.
Putting in the notes.
Thank you.
That's where all the cables are too, like the modems and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Love it. Yeah.
So you got. It would be funny if there was all this sensitive electronic material, and the janitor's just got his mop right by it, and the sink where he fills up his mop and stuff like that. All the wet stuff right there near the electronic equipment.
So it's Jody the janitor with a big mustache, I guess, is what's happening right now in chat.
Wait. Okay.
No.
Jody?
Rex just said Jody the janitor. I think he was going for the alliteration, which I appreciate.
Gotcha. Yes.
They don't have to have a big mustache, but I love it.
I also like the idea of someone in there, especially because we know there's the heist coming. Someone who's going in for a loan or something that's really at the end of their ropes. Maybe it's a farmer who's a small farm and is, trying to compete with the big farms.
Oh, I like it. Let's see. Let's give him a name. What do you got, chat? What do you got, chat, for farmer? A name for a farmer.
Chat.
Now, what do you think about putting a hidden door inside the bank? Something that only a few people would know of.
If we're going with the idea that it's an older renovated building.
I was picturing one here, Adam. So that it would have access for people to get out.
Okay.
But then maybe even one going out of the building that's not accessible from the outside. It doesn't look that way at all. But that's kind of, people, I don't know. That's a little cliche, right?
It depends on what you want to do. So if this side is the main side that has always been here, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They probably could have done that, and they changed that would give a nice, you could describe these two rooms here, these stalls, as being they used to be the vault, but now they changed out the vault. It still looks kind of like a vault, and they kept it looking that way, but they renovated and put a bigger vault over here.
Oh, I love it.
So now you've got these bathrooms that have like the spin handles on them.
Oh yeah.
Or they have the spin handles on them, but they don't spin no more and stuff like that. So that means it wouldn't even have to be a secret door. It's just no one but, I guess, Betty is probably the oldest person there. If we're keeping her as the person who knows all the stuff.
Yeah.
So Betty may know it's not a secret door. It's just it had drywall put over it now, and there's no reason to
that's great.
use it.
that's great. And that way, if the heist is going,
They didn't bother taking it out.
if the heist is going well, Betty could be a source of information for the players to possibly escape, if needed, or to get people out. Because there's a modern feel to this, that there's probably going to be a couple players who are going to want to protect the civilians. So that would be kind of fun to have Betty to have that information, and then you got your big guy who just like starts smashing in through the wall, trying not to draw attention, or however, there's tons of ways to play it, right? But and then, I mean, if it could even go as far as it ends up in a hostage situation and the police surround the building, and then we might have lost Dan. Let me see. And he may be back. Like Dan mentioned before, his internet's a little rough where he's at, but we're okay. Look at that. We're back at it. Welcome back, Dan.
Yeah.
But that would allow, there's so many different ways to take this one. We got Francis.
So,
we got Francis the
see.
farmer and Matthew.
So, Francis Matthews then?
Francis Matthews.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good, man.
I switched to my hotspot, so I think it's going to be better now.
Guess we'll find out, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I like Francis Matthew the farmer.
Francis Matthew the farmer.
Rex, by the way, great game. He's playing Monster Hunter.
Oh, nice.
If you're making that the last name, making it Matthews is usually what happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Francis Matthews the farmer. And it goes by Fran.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean we can make NPCs all day long. Because there's
yes.
Well, we need at least one more, the loan officer.
Yeah. Well, I want a taxi driver too. I think that'd be kind of fun.
So loan officer and taxi driver.
Let's see.
You can make the taxi driver Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert De Niro played taxi driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll add that in.
Robert.
I was also thinking, do you want to have the cop who is going to be communicating, if that's going to happen at all, communicating with the robbers?
That's a great
from the
idea.
outside,
That's a great idea. At least,
just in case players want to contact.
And you could have that wrote in. Here's the thing: is I like writing these with multiple outcomes. So I'll take all the information I can get and do my best to input it, so that when people read these modules, there's options for them.
It's got to be
I
like
figured
a
out
local
an idea.
sheriff. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I think a local sheriff, and then if it goes on too long, then the FBI get there. But they're not likely to get there before the players do something.
Right, because they're supposed to be everyday heroes.
So I was thinking, perhaps to go with your secret entrance exit idea, perhaps Betty knows that the floor, it was actually not the wall, but a floor. There used to be a basement to this where they had the boiler and stuff like that.
Ooh.
But they just put the floor over it.
Okay.
Because they're not going back into the basement anymore. And maybe they were crunched with money to upgrade the bank. So they could tear up that portion of the floor carpet, because this is probably carpeted in at least some of this.
Yeah, we could find a spot.
They could
that's
tear up the
carpeted,
carpet or something like that, and they could get people out, because that has a connection to a separate access point.
Could be inside another building, even.
Yeah, either to another building, or it might have been a storm shelter that was shared between the two buildings at one point. Like if this, so it could be a shared shelter between this bill, right in here, maybe.
Yeah.
Like maybe
because you've got
a bomb shelter from the Cold War. That's something Betty would know.
Yeah.
Yes. So Betty would know that one, or the Cuban Missile Crisis, either era, whichever era you want Betty from, however old you want her. So maybe it's over here somewhere, or maybe it's over in the Sloan office. You don't know. That's where you meet. Get the farmer in. And so you have access and it goes to this building over here
Yeah, that's true.
since it's closest.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. That'd be kind of fun too. I do like Rex had a suggestion. Do we have an NPC that is willing to sell out to the villains?
Oh, that's good. Is
Yeah.
that the broker, maybe?
Maybe it's a broker. Or it could be even a teller.
Oh, yeah?
It could be a teller because they have a little bit of access. So to
That's true.
protect their own life, they're like, I'll help you. I'll do whatever.
Matilda. I mean,
The adulteress Matilda.
yeah, she's, her standards are low.
Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. That's
And her
good.
and then she's definitely not getting with the boss after that because she just sold out his bank.
She's gonna be in jail.
Well,
It's
now
like, you're
here
fired.
also, it could be something you play with a little bank manager. I mean, Mr. Haas. I had Robert Hassenpfeffer, but we already did Robert, so maybe something else. But Mr. Hassenpfeffer also has clearly a lack of moral fiber.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
One of his wives is
So-
an everyday hero, and she storms the bank.
You could totally. We should make the wife a pre-gen.
We should. Oh, that would be too good.
You know that maybe this crisis actually makes him reconsider.
Yeah, it has a change of heart.
Matilda's betrayal.
Yeah.
Matilda's betrayal. His wife coming in, screaming over a megaphone, and he starts to reevaluate and value
Better yet,
those that wouldn't
my
betray him.
she saves his life.
It could be a great pre-gen too, because she could be coming in to confront him about the affair when the bank heist happens.
That
you
adds
know?
a
Like,
lot
it
of
all-
unique drama to the whole situation, actually. And she's carrying like a little pistol in her purse because she's.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, that's too
Yep.
good.
That's
All
good
right,
stuff.
I'll put Mrs. Hassenpfeffer as an NPC/PC in the notes.
Great Mustache also had a unique idea. Is there an NPC that will have a heart attack or other medical emergency in the middle of the robbery? I think that's a great idea because that puts if you have a doctor or a medical professional there, that could be an NPC. I believe we actually have one that's kind of wrote that way a little bit, right, Dan?
Yep. Chiro.
Right. Chiro would have to make a decision to help out this person. Maybe it's a diabetic attack or
Well,
Could be Betty.
remember that. Yeah, Betty's old.
poor Betty.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Well, see,
know.
Betty's really old, and this would be where you would get the information. That information is a reward for saving Betty.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
That's a fantastic
Otherwise, they don't
idea.
get that information.
This is why one shots are so cool, because if they choose not to, that totally changes how the whole one shot plays out.
But that's the thing with this too, is it could play out a billion different ways, especially if you're using it as a one shot. Now, if you're using it as an intro to your campaign, as a GM, you might try to encourage them to go one way or another. But at the same point, you just have multiple outlets, regardless. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
Betty,
Betty heart
poor
attack.
Betty.
I know.
It's her own fault for taxing her heart with all that gossip over the years.
Yes. It's stressful carrying all that information.
That's too good. That's too good. Awesome. So I feel like we should at least have one guard as an NPC. That way, just in
yeah.
case the player doesn't want to play a guard of the bank. So we at least should have one. We already have a Robert. And Betty's gone through a lot, Rex says. In her old age, she's seen a lot in her life.
What is she like? If she's all the way back into the Cold War, she's in her 80s. Probably.
Right.
Because if she was working there during the Cold War to know about it.
She's like the original teller of the first, when they first opened up this bank.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely been there longer than Hassenpfeffer.
Yeah, she's seen
Yes,
power come and
yes.
go.
She's like, I've outlasted more managers than you've got follicles on your fat head, Hassenpfeffer.
Oh, that's too good.
Hey, I got a shout out. Let's make it Rex the bodyguard. Rex the private
Ooh,
security.
Yeah.
Because Rex is always here. Thanks, Rex.
Yeah.
Actually, and Rex had another idea. I liked it. Guard NPC could hold items the players could use if they get to him or help / loot off the body.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
because
he might. So if someone wants to play the guard, they could play Rex. But if someone wants to play, nobody wants to play the guard, then Rex could be injured during the initial assault on the bank, and then he does what Rex was saying.
So I think what I'm going to rule it as Rex is a guard, and if a player wants to play a guard too, there can just be 2 guards. You know what I mean? Okay. But I still like the idea of Rex getting injured, because I feel like maybe Rex is on a beat, on a path. He has a route he likes to walk at a certain time. Like that's his thing. And all the tellers know. He goes and he visits the teller and he sits and talks with Betty as he's drinking a cup of coffee. And I love it that that's when the bank robbery.
Oh,
he's got it.
Him and Betty have to have their morning gossip.
Oh yeah.
So he makes a big front about I'm a patrolling. And then he always seems to end up at Betty's stall. Betty's either, if she's the receptionist, the reception desk, or the other thing.
Did you hear?
She always ends up there. Did you?
Rex walks up.
Morning, Rex.
Did you hear about
Morning, Betty.
Did you hear about the the one teller there, Matilda? Her kids got sick. They're throwing up, and she's still at work.
Well, I'm not really surprised, considering that I know where she's coming to work.
I know what you know. But yeah, no, that could be a lot of fun to have that interaction there.
I love that.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think Jody actually also takes care of all the plants. So Jody's she's out there and she's trimming the plants, minding her own business. She even talks to him sometimes.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Man,
love
there's
that.
So many options here to do.
It also gives, for the one shot, Rex can be a potential source of information. He's not as good as Betty. So if Betty does die from the heart attack, there's still a potential other point of contact for information.
But there's also the fact that he's carrying weapons. At least I'm picturing at least a taser, a gun, and maybe even a nightstick. That's kind of what I was picturing for the guard. So if he gets taken out by the robbery, then he can be utilized as, armaments for our players. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good amount of NPCs. I'm going to make just some regular commoners.
We still didn't get the loan officer.
Oh, thank you. The loan officer. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Do you have any suggestions?
So what was it? Fran, the farmer, was meeting with the loan officer. I was going for an L name since we were going with alliteration.
Larry the loan officer.
Larry the loan officer, yeah.
Or Linda, could be a female.
Well, there are a lot of females in the banking industry.
There is, for sure.
On that level of job.
Yeah.
I kind of like that because we were talking, it could be, Larry or Linda. Linda's Loans. That's her business.
She has a little sign she puts out her office. She's
a little husband and wife team. Larry and Linda's Loans.
Oh, even better. And they're over the top, eccentric about it. Linda dresses to the nines with 6-inch heels, always bright colors, just very excited. Come get your loans. Oh, yes. Are you here for a loan? She's just over the top excited about it. And Larry is the white shirt, black tie, chill, even keel.
Yeah. Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. He always says no and she always says yes. But you never know which one you're going to get. Oh, that's too good.
It's a crapshoot going in, being is it going to be Linda or going to be Larry? You call Betty first and say, "Hey, Betty, who's in the loans today?"
Yes.
I love it. That's so good. Oh, that's perfect. So, I think that's a decent amount of NPCs with some backstory. Obviously, there's going to be some other commoners or locals inside the bank that will be doing some stuff. We don't have to name every single one of them. Of course, we could if we wanted to, but we could.
Well, the beauty of it is you can just throw out a regular name because it's all normal-ish, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rex says the loan officer needs a mighty mustache.
Everyone's got a mustache.
Everybody loves mustaches.
We said that Jody the janitor was going to end up female, so this could be where the mustache goes.
Yeah, you got to have a big mustache in your game, right?
Some might say you have to have a great mustache in your game.
Ooh, but I love it. That's great. All right, so let's switch over a little bit to talking about the robbers, or the heists, or the bad guys.
Bad guys.
Robbers is acceptable. Thieves are acceptable.
Yeah.
My son prefers bandits.
So I was
bandits
because it's current time. I was actually debating on having them. There are, excuse me, in some of the pre-made characters within Everyday Heroes, they have opponents that you can actually choose from. I was looking through some of that quickly, and it was just instantly populating things in my head. But I like the idea of, like, they have drones. They're pretty popular right now. They can fly a drone in that flash bangs or something. I'm just throwing ideas out there, but I think that would be kind of fun, because most anybody can get access to a drone, right? I mean, and with a little bit of money, but if they're backed by a higher syndicate of some sort or something like that, they could easily be well supplied, is the word I'm looking for. So they had, I was thinking that it would be kind of cool to start this off with a couple drones flying the front from both sides, and one flies into the receptionist, or one flies, and then bang, they go off, and then they start storming in, the thieves, or whatever you want to call them, the robbers. But I also, I'm trying to find it. It was in the book, which their book is so cool. I was enjoying it. It's well organized, very clean, organized book. So shout out to them for their book. It's
Evil Geniuses.
Evil Geniuses, yeah.
Link in the description.
Yeah, check it out. Let's see. There was like a robot dog. I don't know where it went. But I was like, that would be kind of cool too, to have a robot. But you could also save the robot dog for, there it is, robot dog. You could save the robot dog for the police to use that to come in with their communication device, if it gets to that point. But I am showcasing on the stream some of the stuff they have, which is really cool, like the robotic dog, the drone. So there's a lot of ways to handle this, right? I mean, I don't want to give away too much because we want to save some for our live stream when we play it. But
I guess my one question to you, yes, for sure. My one question would be, are you thinking of making like a team that's a PC party equivalent, an anti-PC party, or are you thinking more some minions and then a main person and his like mage sidekick, if you will?
Yeah, I love that. So I was actually thinking of all of it. No, no, but for real, I was kind of picturing this in waves of events. So first is going to be the drones or dogs. I kind of like the drones idea. Then a bunch of mooks will come in, and then if they're taking too long, the anti-PC party will come in essentially. Leaving the big bad guy for somebody to use later. Whoever's driving and paying for this, I want it to be that's going to be that big henchman made sidekick, if you will, at the end.
Yeah.
So you could do a few things, yeah. You could do, depending on how much intrigue you want, you could do it where one of these NPCs that were in there, maybe that guy that we were talking about before, that was going to be the lead. If the lead into a more modern campaign. If you want to run it where they actually go into the witness protection instead, you could have it where he's actually the mastermind of the whole assault.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
he just came in under the guise of a meeting with something else, but there's actually something in the vault he wants and can't get to by normal means. So now he's got to bust the vault, and he's there just as to give himself an ironclad alibi. Well, no, I was there. I was a hostage at the bank.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that,
That's fun.
or you can switch.
Yeah.
You could also switch it around if you want the bad guys to be more existential, more outside of the thing. They can always be communicating through a secure line, some kind of secure satellite relay with their bigger boss that the players only ever hear the voice of.
Ooh.
And so you have one boss, mini boss, that is here doing this, the main henchman that's actually trusted to go do this. And then those around him is his one tech expert, and then all the goons that he brought. Like maybe 3 goons.
Yeah.
So it's a 5-man team to go and do this. The leader, his tech expert, and then 3 goons. So that's an option.
There's a lot of options, yeah. And I might write in more than one. I could even write in the opposite. Your players are the ones doing the heist, right?
Yeah.
True enough. Mm-hmm.
But what I like the idea, I'm doing the hero element of this. But yeah, no, that's actually, yeah. So there's a lot to think about there, how I want to actually write it out. But like you said, like I've said multiple times, it's fun to kind of give them multiple, here you could do it this way, or this way. Now that is a lot to write out, but it's also fun to give those options to people. And people are going to spin it their own way anyways. They're going to read the module and then be like, oh, no, we're going to add this. That's what I love. I want to hear when people do that, because I love hearing how people do that, because I do that with the modules and stuff that I run. You never know what you're going to improv.
Yeah.
Well, if you're wanting it to slot into somebody else's campaign easily, then the second option is probably best, because it is just ever hearing the voice of the bad guy, the main bad guy, is enough.
Oh, I know what I forgot. I'm looking at the map as we're talking, and I love your idea, Adam. I'm not trying to derail it at all. I don't have any coffee mugs at all. And Betty has to have her favorite coffee mug. I just was thinking about being Betty at her computer station. She has her book. It's a romance novel, and she needs her coffee cup. Sorry, I just was like, where's her coffee cup? Sorry.
Wait. I got a slight tweak on that.
Okay.
That could be beneficial. It's like she's into murder mysteries.
Ooh. Yep, it's a murder mystery.
Which could have the romantic.
It's a romantic
it could
murder
totally have the murder mystery. Yes. So she could actually be helpful if they save her life.
In multiple ways. Oh
no, she becomes like their Q or something like their intelligence officer. She knows all of the different things, and she has to leave the bank anyway because the bank is shut down because of this. And so when they start the campaign, she ends up getting hired on as the receptionist at the other place.
Betty becomes.
She ends up finding out all the stuff, all the dirt.
Yes. Or she
knows stuff way beyond her clearance level.
Right. Yes. I was thinking she's the character from Monsters Inc. that ends up being like the top lady of the whole.
Wait, what?
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. Wait, what was her name? Oh, that's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Marge. Rosalind. It's Rosalind, but it's Roz.
Oh, I love it.
That's what they call her.
That's so great. That's too good.
You're late again with your reports, Mike.
That's too awesome. But now that you guys have given me a roof access too, there's a lot of ways to penetrate the bank. And they could be all hit at once, which would be added to the chaos and fun. Because obviously at first they're just going to want to cause chaos. And if this is an organized group doing this, you could easily have multiple entrances, and which is cool because depending on where the players are at that moment, they're going to be kind of spread out. But you know how they often will gather all the people in the bank and force them into one area?
Right.
Because that would be kind of cool to have that play out. Because the players, and this is what I would write to the GM, is I would encourage the players to not just like go guns a blazing for the first person they meet. Be tactical about it. to get to that point of like, oh, I find a point of a spot that I can actually take advantage of this, and we can gain ground. Or they're whispering in a crowd, and the robber tells them to shut up, or whatever, like, because it adds to that suspense, like, because if your players are just jumping out and gunning right away, which is great too, but that's where the waves of enemies will start coming in, I think, and that's where maybe we have to be a little adjusting to the situation. But essentially, and how I have them starting, or my idea, would they actually be spread out in different spots at the bank. So, and they're not going to know each other. So that's going to add to that, like, suspense. And they're going to have to try to build a relationship while under this duress. And then all of a sudden they see the glint in each other's eyes of like, we're going to do something. You know what I mean? Or however you want to play that out. But I like that idea of like, they all get put into, an area and they're held hostage, and then they decide to make that move of like, oh no, I see an opening or whatever it may be. Or maybe 3 characters get put in that room, and one has taken action and is hiding up in one of the offices, or he's went back upstairs where one came down. I'm just throwing this all out there, how it could play out. Because you start this out with like, okay, so what are you doing at the bank? There's a lot that could happen here for sure.
And Mustache reminds us to remind the players while you're playing it, that they are not yet heroes.
Yeah.
This is to establish them as heroes.
Correct. Correct. And this is where they would be recognized by, the agents of protection or whatever. I'm just throwing words out there now, but
right.
Or the buds.
Yeah, buds. Torn wants to play again.
We need to do that again.
Yes. Shout out to also the PC build, that it may or may not be helpful, that like the way I built Mustache's supporter character, which I'll quick shout out that if you're a patron supporter at Firmly Rooted or Up in our patronage through Locals or Patreon, we build a pre-gen based on what you, the supporter, wants, that shows up in different iterations for each of these collaborations that we do with the theme months. So the ones we built for this one, Mustache's character could already have an in to knowing what to do, has more of a connection with the government and stuff, versus the 𝙬𝙬 character I made would be totally just a normie,
right?
That's roped into this.
I mean,
so it could help to have a PC that has an in already,
right,
to kind of bring everybody else together.
And so that's why I was making a guard PC based off of my lineage character, Krusk. I'm going to change around a little bit. So, so they're going to have a little bit of information. I had 2 different Krusks I did tell you about, but I wanted to make one. Because I had the same feeling as you. It has a little bit more insight of the bank and stuff like that. And then also my other character is off of my wife's lineage character, V. She's going to be there trying to get a loan to start her library. She goes by V. She's this beautiful dark-haired lady. Who
everybody drink.
Why are you just describing mush now? So what do you know?
Hey, shout out to my super supportive wife. But
amen.
Yeah,
that wasn't what he was thinking to say. That's what he said on stream.
So
I heard those S's.
Both are true.
Both are true. We're on a stream, Adam. I am so red, and you guys can't see it. It's beautiful.
Hey, Avenue Studios is all about family and gaming. So
and marriages. We'll get to that later.
See, Michelle's in the chat, too. So, there you go.
There it is. Krusk and V. She just...
forever.
Getting hot over here. So the players are going to have tie-in. I think I might write it in V's character story that she's asked for this loan multiple times, but the bank doesn't think they should fund a library this day and age. And she's trying to explain to them that, well, no, it's a media-based library. We'll have computer access and it's still a viable thing. Like it's good for the kids. Not everybody can, so I love the idea.
She always sees Larry.
Yes, Larry always tells her no, and she wants to meet with Linda.
No matter what.
Oh, and no, for this, I got it. For this one, she meets with Linda, and so like in the middle of meeting with Linda, and so she's now enraged. She's an enraged librarian who's like, "I'm done. I was about to get my library."
I was going to sign on the dotted line.
It's just like rage attacking these guys. It was my library. Yep. She just says
Love
yep.
it.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot to write. Do you guys have any other input you have for this?
I'm not sure how you would want to necessarily work it. It was suggested in the chat before, and also came to mind of the verticality of it, depending on how many stories you had. A small town, a town of 15,000 would have had less than that before, but they would have upgraded the thing. So 2 stories, maybe 3 at most,
Yeah.
for this size of a building would probably be fine. And if that mostly is being used for storage right now, it might be a thing where the players might be able to slip up there quietly, and if they can get up there before that second wave comes in, and be able to get the jump on or have some kind of advantage to do something on the invaders at the time.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that big flashbang comes in. If they all go up the stairs really quick, when they hear a bunch of people bursting in, they may not the assailants may not do a really thorough check. They just send a goon up to do a check on the upper rooms.
Yeah.
And they don't do a thorough check. So if they hide well enough, they don't have to deal with that until they're ready.
That's true. And what's cool is you could actually make it where the right side of the building is the only upper part, because they did the addition on the left. So like that, it's an odd shaped building, and then the third story could be that basement, that little basement bomb shelter exit, addition. And that's a great idea, because I like that idea of like there's a tense moment where PCs and maybe a couple NPCs are hiding up in the second story, and the one of the mooks goes up there to kind of do a sweep, and they either take them out, so now they have more gear, or they completely have to hide, and they have to like cover Betty's mouth because she's like dying.
Yes.
And a way you can work the Betty thing, if you want to have the drama from it, but they're all captured, is maybe they're all stuck in one room and Betty's having her heart issues, and she has medication at her desk. Her nitro pills are at her desk.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah, that's good.
That is so good. So there's so many little conundrums and situations you can add to this, because being everyday heroes, especially like Chiro's character or even Krusk or V, I know their personality wise, they would want to help this poor old lady. Great mustache, you have to let me know what your character would feel about that. But no, I'm just kidding.
Depends on who's running him at the time.
Right, exactly. And that's the fun of it all, right? That just can create such a like they did a heroic thing, you know what I mean? And then like but now that turns over to that Betty being the intelligence officer or the main contact for that's part of the higher up group, whatever, the buds or however you want to call that. So like it adds to it, because then she could just have this like enamored love for these players because they saved her life, and now she's also working with / for them in a way as the contact through the higher ups, and that can just develop into such a beautiful thing.
I love all you kids. You're just the best. Come here, give me a kiss. Give Betty a kiss. That's my girl. Okay.
She pinches Krusk's
Where's
cheek.
my book?
Yeah.
yeah.
Where'd my book go? Where's my coffee?
Betty has been begging for V to get this library up. I love it, because then like there's still that little bit of V is a recognized person inside the bank because she's been there multiple times to get a loan. So that's great.
Oh, quick shout out too. Doing that with the PCs for a one shot gives them really good instant investment if like some of the NPCs already recognize them.
Yeah.
And have a relationship. You're coming in with investment for this heist because these are people they know that are now in physical danger.
Oh, I might write another NPC. It's V's sister works at the bank.
Oh,
She's a
nice.
teller, so she feels like she has an in. So like, you know, she knows some of the inner workings of the bank.
Yes.
This is so exciting. This is going to be a lot of fun. And like Dan said, he was building some of the characters and I was building some and looking through the book. This is built for this kind of a situation. And I always like that everyday hero kind of attitude. And to be able to role play through it, I think is going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep. And I want to shout out again too. We're excited. We've got at least 2 more supporters who are designing their pre-gens that'll show up in multiple systems, in multiple settings. So there's multiple iterations. And shout out to 𝙈𝙁𝙗𝑎𝒆𝒏𝒕, one of our biggest supporters who we love so much, Alex, in After Quest, had the idea to make it so that we name your supporter pre-gen after your Discord handle as best we can, so that you get to see yourself on adventures, basically. So it's really fun. Who knows who's going to be running Chiru? Who knows who's going to be running 𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗?
Yeah.
Throwing in Jake and Michelle's legacy characters. It's just, it's really exciting to make the community, the forest, all a part of this.
Yeah, it is a blast for sure. I mean, I still laugh. I'll look back at the modules I'm working on them, and I think about the mech Chiro from Chiba Industries and the fact that we use that name in that sort of way. It just was so enjoyable for me. You know, it was just like, it has a depth, you know, I guess it's kind of an inside joke, but you should become part of that.
Yes, everyone's welcome.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's what my list is complete. You guys completed all the things I needed answered, and very, very well done. You guys were really prepared for this one. Do you guys have any more?
I mean, Mustache is saying, note to self, if I get in the one shot, kill Betty accidentally.
Oh gosh. Here we go. Betty's wearing a bulletproof
No, why
vest.
are you picking on me? I'm just here with my book and my coffee.
She pulls forth a big old like 45 1911.
Yeah.
Not in my
You
house.
can try.
You want to
she's
shoot,
got
you
like
shoot
this
the campaign
big
in
purse.
the foot, right?
She's got
She
this
just likes
big
a
purse.
challenge.
She pulls out her magnum. And she's like,
Go ahead, Puck. Make my day.
Yes.
I love it.
Feeling lucky, punk.
Are you feeling lucky?
Oh
Or
man.
are you, punk?
I love it though.
That's too
Oh
good.
my gosh.
Betty's secretly a plant for for the organization that they're supposed to bring. She's the contact.
Yeah.
The whole
Yes.
The whole
time.
time. 500 S&W. I love this. You guys are
Hey,
awesome.
you know what?
This is great.
Supporters only are the only ones that get to metagame.
I love it. I mean, that's the whole fun of all of this, right? That's the whole point in Forest Forge is we get to sit here and do this and metagame, and this is awesome. This is fantastic.
It's so much fun to build with chat. Thank you for being here,
I love
each
it.
and every one of you. It's great. And if you're watching this later, comment below. You know, if it's before we play, of course, we'll see if we can incorporate it in. And if not, it's stuff Jay could eventually add into the module for people who pick it up afterwards. too.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll flesh out one of those buildings next door as a bakery. That would be kind of fun. The smell of fresh
Maybe
baked goods waft
that's
through.
The one that's the one it shares a shelter with.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
awesome, guys.
They come up and they get Betty out, and she's like,
Oh, I wanted a donut.
Where's my coffee? I need a dip in a coffee.
Where's my coffee?
and she gets one of the donuts.
You can't splash, splash, splash. You can't beat a good glazed donut with some coffee.
Thanks, guys. I'm hungry now for coffee
you're
and a donut.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean that's
All right.
about what I have for today.
So I'm
just excited.
I know. I'm sad it's done. I guess.
Well, I mean, I'll take more input. I'm just
I know we'll go forever playing characters. Awesome. Well, I guess there's nothing else to say then. This has been another fantastic Forge with Avenue Studios. Thank you so much for joining. Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads, how can people find and support you?
Well, I'm pretty sure they can find and support me the same places they can find and support you, which are namely Locals, Patreon, for me also Subscribestar, and by contacting us directly, either Avenue Studios or the Interplanar Crossroads, either way. Supporting either one of us gives you access to those respective Discords, and you can engage with the community. Oh, something that we've been doing with the Interplanar Crossroads chats for the Around the Hearths is a comment specifically to prove that you made it this far. I'm gonna say, if I may, Betty's 45 is the comment to put down below to prove you made it this far and watching.
I love it.
That's great.
That's so good.
That's such a nice
Yes.
challenge too. I won't comment.
It's crossing the multiverse too.
Yes.
Hey, if you join in, there's little Easter eggs of the Interplanar Crossroads inside our Discord descriptions if you find them. So, you can only find that if you join us.
Oh, savage. I love it.
Well, it's because
Jacob. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
on a far off pathway blows a breeze that is fair. The warm smell of pastries waft across on the air. There you go.
I love it.
That's all I'm teasing
It's stuck in
for
my
now.
head.
I'm still working on it.
That's good. That's
Dude,
good.
I don't even hear the original anymore. I only hear your version.
Yep.
You only hear, "Welcome to the Interplanar Crossroads, where we come to play
Where we come
tabletop games."
I love it. We should get together with David and actually like recreate the song.
I would love to.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I've got it mainly finished, but people need to look at it because I'm not fully satisfied, but got it mainly finished.
Oh,
as far as words.
the shenanigans of the three of us.
Shenanigans.
I love it.
I would
That's
play
really
that
good.
every single time. I would play that intro, outro. I would have
The
that
basking
memorized.
meme.
Rex
Yeah.
also said he would listen to that song.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's on the list to do. All right. Well, I will say check out Jacob. Start playing games as well if you want to play games with Jacob and support him and all he does. I will have links. It's not in there currently, but I got to update it through the computer because I'm on the road. But thank you, Jacob, for running the stream so much. Thank you, chat, for joining. And I'll say it again. This has been another Fantastical Forge with Avenue Studios. Do give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to follow the adventure. You can further support us and become a part of the ever-growing forest known as Avenue Studios by joining our Locals or Patreon community. Doing so not only helps us continue to create high-quality content, but you will gain access to bonus content as well as our private Discord where you can chat with us, play games, play these games we're building now, and so much more. Do check out the links in the description below for the system we're running for this forge, as well as sound, music, and ambience. And thank you so very much for joining the adventure. And we will see you next time.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.